Shunitara Mata Pita Duki. Oh, we read this yesterday, but that's okay. Shuniyatara Mata Pita Duki Tahaila Putratani Dravya Manusya Patayite Manakaila. Hearing the description of Raghunath Das's behavior in the renounced order, his father and mother were very unhappy. Therefore, they decided to send Raghunath some men with goods for his comfort. Chari Shatamudra Duibritya Aka Brahmana Shivanandera Tandi Pataila Tatakshana. Raghunath Das's father immediately sent 400 coins, 2 servants, and 1 Brahmin to Shivananda saying, Shivananda kahitumi shabajaite nariba ami jai jabe amara shange jaiva. Shivananda Sain informed them, you can go to Jagannath Puri directly. When I go there, you cannot go. You cannot go to Jagannath Puri directly. When I go there, you may accompany me. So he's giving some advice. Don't go there directly, but when I go, I'll take you. Ebekara jaha jabe amishabat chalimu. Tabe toma shabakare shangelanya jamu. Now go home. When all of us go, I shall take all of you with me. Eita prastave Shri Kavikarnapura Raghunatha Mahima Grante Likila Prachura. Describing this incident, the great poet Sri Kavikarnapur has written extensively about the glorious activities of Raghunath Das in his Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka. Acharju Jaranandanash Madhura Shivasudeva Priyas Tachishyo Raghunatha Ichari Guna Pranadiko Madhusham Shri Chaitanya Kripati Rekha Shatata Snigdha Swarupanugo Vairagyaika Nidhyana Kasya Vilito Nila Chaletishtatam. Raghunath Das is a disciple of Jadunandanacharya, who is very gentle and is extremely dear to Vasudev Datta, a resident of Kanchanapali. So it's describing Jadunandanacharya. Because of Raghunath Das's transcendental qualities, he is more dear than life for all of us devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Since he has been favored by the abundant mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is always pleasing, vividly providing a superior example for the renounced order. This very dear follower of Swarup Damodar Goswami is the ocean of renunciation. Who among the residents of Nilachal, Jagannath Puri, does not know him very well? And this is a verse from the Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka of Kavikarnapur. Jasarva lokaika mano birucha shobhagya bhukachit akrishtapachya yatrayam aropanatulya kalam tat prema shaki palavan atulya. Because he is very pleasing to all the devotees, Raghunath Das Goswami easily became like the fertile earth of good fortune, in which it was suitable for the seed of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be sown. So Mahaprabhu was putting seed in the fertile soil of Raghunath Das Goswami's very wonderful nature. And at the same time that the seed was sown, it grew into a matchless tree of the love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and produced fruit. This is the next verse from the Sri Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka. I'm going to read that verse again. Because he, Raghunath Das Goswami, is very pleasing to all the devotees. Raghunath Das Goswami easily became like the fertile earth of good fortune, in which it was suitable for the seed of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be sown. At the same time that the seed was sown, it grew into a matchless tree of love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and produced fruit. Shivananda Jaiche se Manushe Kahila Karnapura se Rupe Shloka Varnila. In these verses, the great poet Kavi Karnapur gives the same information that Shivananda Sena conveyed to the messenger from Raghunath Das's father. Varshantai Shivananda Chale Nila Chale Raghunath Tera Sevaka Vipratara Sange Chale. The next year, when Shivananda Sena was going to Jagannath Puri as usual, the servants and the Brahmin, who was a cook, went with him. Se viprabricha chari shatamudralanya nilachale raghunate milila asiya. Servants and Brahmin brought 400 coins to Jagannath Puri, and there they met Raghunath Das. Raghunatha Dasa Angikara Nakarila Dravyalanya Duichana Tahani Rahila. Raghunath Das did not accept the money and men sent to it by his father. Therefore the Brahmin and one of the servants stayed there with the money. Tave Raghunatha Karyale Kajatana Masini Kaila Prabhura Nimantrana. At that time, Raghunath Das began inviting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his house, and with great attention for 2 days every month. Dumi Nimantrane Lagi Kauri Astapana Brahmana Brichatani Karena Eteka Grahana. The cost for these 2 occasions was 640 kodis. Therefore, he would take that much money from the servant and the Brahmin. So in other words, aside from the times that Raghunath Das was inviting Mahaprabhu for them, he didn't use any of that money. E mata nimantrana barsha duikaila pache Raghunatha nimantrana charidila. Raghunath Das continued to invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this way for 2 years. But at the end of the 2nd year, he stopped. Masadui Jabe Raghunatha Nakare Nimantrana Swarupe Puchila Tabi Shachira Nandana. When Raghunath Das neglected to invite Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 2 consecutive months, the Lord, the son of Shachi, questioned Swarup Damodar. Rago Kenea Maya Nimantrana Chadidila Swarupakahe Mani Kichu Bichara Karila. The Lord asked, why has Raghunath Das stopped inviting me? Swarup Damodar replied, he must have reconsidered something in his mind. Vishayira Dravyalanya Kari Nimantrana Prasanana Haya Ihaya Jani Prabhu Ramana. I invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by accepting goods from materialistic So this is the quote, quoting Raghunath Das's thinking. I invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by accepting goods from materialistic people. I know that the Lord's mind is not satisfied by this. He doesn't want that. Be a part of that. Mora chitta dravya laite nahaya nirmala nimantrane deki pratishta matrapala. My consciousness is impure because I accept all these goods from people who are interested only in pounds, shillings, and pence. Therefore, by this kind of invitation, I get only some material reputation. This is the thinking of Raghunatha. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks that people who are under the bodily conception of life are called materialists. If we accept the offerings of such people, place them before the Lord, and invite Vaishnavas to partake of the prasadam, that attempt will gain us only a material reputation, not the actual benefit of service to a pure Vaishnava. One should therefore try to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead by fully surrendering at his lotus feet. If one engages for the service of the Lord, whatever money one has honestly earned, that is spiritual service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the spiritual master, and the Vaishnavas. So in other words, this is might feel confusing because we do, people do come and give donations. But what is being discussed here is a certain motive. That, giving big festivals and all these things from wealth in order to gain some prestige. That, we are having all these, this and that and that. And they're saying this is not going to bring us any kind of Krishna, real, genuine spiritual progress. But at the same time, we want to give an opportunity to everyone to engage in the service of the Lord. But this is done with preaching, with the backing of the actual process of devotional service. And with that understanding by that person who is giving that money, that they understand what they're giving that toward. That is our safe bet. And that we are practicing surrender. The money may come, the money may not come. We're simply trying to do our best to engage in the service of Guru and Gurmata. So it's a matter of attitude. It's not a matter of whether or not one gives festivals. But here Raghunath Das Goswami is berating himself that, I'm just trying to get some prestige. Uparode Prabhu Moramanena Nimantrana Namanile Duki Hai Beka Murka Jana. At my request, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts the invitations because he knows that a foolish person like me would be unhappy if he did not accept them. Purport, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that people who are advanced in learning but attached to material enjoyment, who are puffed up by material possessions, by birth in an elevated aristocratic family, or by education, may offer show bottle devotional service to the deity and offer prasadam to the Vaishnavas. But because of their ignorance, they cannot understand that since their minds are materially polluted, neither the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, nor the Vaishnavas accept their offerings. If one accepts money from such materialistic persons to offer food to the deity and Vaishnavas, a pure Vaishnava does not accept it. This causes unhappiness for the materialists because they are fully absorbed in the bodily conception of life. Therefore, sometimes they turn against the Vaishnavas. This is a very fine point. The relative and the absolute are always to be taken very, very carefully. So we don't, in other words, we're not a party to in the aggrandizement of anyone. But that again, this is the, I'm going to give an extreme example. Are you following this?
Yeah, what is the extreme example of that?
So the extreme example I could say that we can understand is the example of, for example, the Medici family of medieval Italy. Mm-hmm. They were in like Flynn with the Pope.
And Flynn?
The Pope, huh?
Excuse me, what does that mean? The Flynn?
It's an old American expression. It means they're very cozy with the Pope. And they would give so much money, they would build churches and, do all these things for their prestige. And the poet, some of those popes accepted that because they got very wealthy from that. So this is what's being spoken about here. When the motive is disgusting, when the motive is very materialistic, we don't want to be a part, we're not going to play in that game at all. Krishna is not interested in being a party to someone else's mundane consciousness. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Is it clear? So, if someone's giving money to the temple, then that's very nice. And they may be a rich person and they may give a lot of money, but it must be given with some sincerity. Not that, oh, by giving this, I'm going to use this temple for my own purpose. You see the difference? That I'm going to I'll get a picture in the paper and all this, whatever. I mean, this is not really a thing here that we have to worry about so much. But in India, that can be a thing. It could definitely be a thing. He gets, his picture is a great person and whatever. We're not a party to that sort of thing. It's actually offensive. We cannot use Krishna for our purposes. If somebody wants to give some money, it is for the purpose of Krishna, not for that Krishna is going to be serving them. So it's a little bit of a fine point there. But Raghunath Das Goswami, in his deep humility, is accusing himself of doing this. Eta vichariya nimantrana charidila Shuni Mahaprabhu Hashi Balitela Gila. Considering all these points, Damodar concluded, he has stopped inviting you. Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and spoke as follows. Bishayira anakaile malina hayamana, malina mana haile, nahe krishnera smarana. When one eats food offered by a materialistic man, one's mind becomes contaminated. And when the mind is contaminated, one is unable to think of Krishna properly. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur suggests that people who are materialistically inclined and sahajiyas, or so-called Vaishnavas, who take everything very casually, are both Vishayis, or materialists. Eating food offered by them causes contamination. And as a result of such contamination, even a serious devotee becomes like a materialistic man. There are 6 kinds of association, as we know, from Upadeshamrita: giving charity, accepting food, offering food, talking confidentially, and inquiring confidentially. One should be very careful to avoid associating with both sahajiyas, who are sometimes known as Vaishnavas, and the non-Vaishnavas, or the Avaishnavas. Their association changes the transcendental devotional service of Krishna into sense gratification. It doesn't change pure devotion into sense gratification, but what looks like devotional service is actually sense gratification. And when sense gratification enters the mind of a devotee, he is contaminated. So we are on our guard. Each and every one of us practitioners are on our guard, and we may not even notice some of these things in us. And then suddenly we notice, maybe I want everyone to think of some good thing about me. But when by the grace of the light of the holy lotus feet of Gurudev, we suddenly can see something like that in ourselves, for example, then we now is my opportunity. I have to become rid of this. I need to get rid of this. I don't want to use Guru and Krishna, Mahaprabhu, for my purpose. So these are subtle points, but because Chaitanya Charitamrita is such a subtle divine scripture, we will be able to discuss this kind of thing about ourselves and our progress, and not to associate with others who are doing the same thing, utilizing Krishna, the temple, or anything for their personal motivation. This is very nasty. Of course, an extreme devotee can utilize many, many things, but Srila Prabhupada said, only the best fisherman can catch the big fish without getting wet himself. So we are warned here not to do this. And seeing that Raghunath Das Goswami was so shushamiksha, so self-introspective in this way, Mahaprabhu was very happy about that. Visayara anahaya rajasa nimantrana Tata bhokta dunhara malinahaya mana. When one accepts an invitation from a person contaminated with the material mode of passion, the person who offers the food and the person who accepts it are both mentally contaminated. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that there are three kinds of invitation: those in the mode of goodness, those in the mode of passion, and those in ignorance. An invitation accepted from a pure devotee is in the mode of goodness, pure meaning pure in intention, under the shelter of a pure devotee or a pure devotee. An invitation accepted from a person who is pious but materially attached is in the mode of passion. And an invitation accepted from a person who is materially very sinful is in the mode of ignorance. So it is the intention in which that invitation is given. Sometimes devotees are invited to someone's house, but it depends on the respect in which this invitation is given. Respect for the Guru Vaishnava, respect for our Guru, and given not for some material motive. So we want to accept everything that is going to be in the mood of respect and in the mood of hearing, that they want to associate with the devotees, not that we are going to go and take their association. So these are warnings for us who are practitioners, not to go, who to associate with, and in what mood these things are being done. It's very important. Association is, Gurudev warned us about this again and again, about association. Ihara sanko chayamyat dina nila palahaila janiya apani chadidila. Because of Raghunath Das's eagerness, I accepted his invitation for many days. It is very good that Raghunath Das, knowing this, has now automatically given up this practice. Okay, stop here. Any questions about this? It's a very fine point. We don't want to be a party for others. We don't want anyone to use our Guru, our Gauranga, or our temple for their prestige. We are not going to be a party to that. We want to always, we are feeling very fortunate and blessed, and of course we want to find those hearts and souls who wish to also come under the holy lotus feet of Gurudev. But if they want to do that, then then they may invite the devotees for their purification, but not for their religion, not for their prestige or whatever it is that's available on the marketplace that we may be able to help with. We don't want to do that. We have to make sure that we know them, that we that we know they're sincere souls, and then we go give some kirtan, maybe some talks, offer the prasadam to Gurudev, offer that is cooked nicely. Don't just go to any party just because there are devotees involved. And some junk is being cooked, and this is not a good thing. Sorry to say that, but it's true. Hari Om. Lost something. All right. No questions? Jai
No.
Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Om Vishnu Paresi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai.
Jai.
All right, here's our Upadeshamrita by Srila Rupa Goswami Pai, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu ki jai. All right, let's go. Have you memorized any more yet? All right. Vacho vegam manaskroda vegam jiva vegam udarupasta vegam etam vegam yogi setatira sarvam apimam pritibim sasisyat. Okay, those are the six
urges.
The six urges. Atyahara prayasascha prajapo niyamagraha Janasangaschaloyam cha satir bhaktir vinashati. Those are the six qualities which
Destroy
devotion.
the six faults. The six faults.
The six faults which destroy devotion. Utsahan nishchayatarya tat karma pravartanat sangatyaga sato vitte Sabir Bhakti Prasidhyati.
Those are the six qualities that nourish devotion.
Tadati Pratigragnati Guhyam Vakhyati Vrichyati Bhukte Bhojayate Chaiva Satvidam Pritilakshanam. These are we just heard it also in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Those are the six characteristics of types of exchange of love between devotees.
Lovely. Krishneti Kiritam Krishneti Yasya Kiritam Manasadriyeta Tiksha Srichet Pranati Bisha Bhajantam Isham Shushushaya Bhajan Vigyam
Ananyamanya
Bhajanam Vigyam Ananyamanya Nindani Sunyadi Vidamilpshita Shangalabdya.
Those are the different gradations of relationship between towards those who have the holy name of the Lord in their mouths.
Yes, who are chanting the Lord's name, our different relationships with each one of them. Dishtai Svabhava Janite Bhavishascha Doshe Naprapitatvam Ipaktanasvasye Gangam Basam Nabaludmudape Napanke Brahmavatma Apakachati Nirarmai. This is describing how the great Vaishnava, just like the river Ganga, is never contaminated by anything, although outwardly there may appear to be some fault in the body or nature or anything. That is natural. For water, bubbles are natural, and for the body, some fault is natural. Set Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Pasya Asitapya Vidya Pito patapta rasanasya
Prasanasya
dharochikanu kinpadaran anudinam kalushaya justa swadvikramad bhavati tadgaram garamulahantri. And this is that the sugar candy of Krishna's name will cure the disease of ignorance, which is like jaundice, making that name appear to be like a bitter substance. It will cure that disease, and by doing so, that devotee will begin to taste the sweetness of the name. So this is number 7, with very extensive commentary taken from various places to enlighten that verse. So now we're on page 175. Oh, this is really lovely. So I'm just going to start I think I'll start here, this beautiful verse. Nikila Shruti Mala Nikila Shruti Mauli Ratna Mala Duti. This is Srila Rupa Goswami. We cannot find in the ordinary Shrutis mention and praise of the holy name, but in the finest and highest Shrutis we do. Shruti means Veda, revealed truth, and in the finest and highest revelation we find that they intend to praise the holy name, the holy sound aspect of the Lord. Such expressions are considered to be the highest among the revealed truth. The highest quality of revealed truth is seen only as nirajita, as if with its light performing arti and trying to show the holy figure of the Lord. Pada pankajanta, the highest type of revealed truth, is only trying to show us, to connect us, the pada pankajanta, the lowest portion of the holy figure of the name. So the Shrutis are just trying to show some light to the feet of the holy name of the Lord. Where should we begin? Our proper beginning will be with the holy feet. If we try to focus on other parts of the Lord, that will be somewhat misguided. The proper beginning must be with the lowest position, and then gradually we shall go up. And that will be the healthy line of progress. Ai mukta kule upasyamanam. O name, ordinary men who are in bondage cannot approach you. Real realization of you and your proper dealings, your service, is only possible by those who are really masters of all illusory tendencies. They've mastered over them. They are not the slaves of those tendencies. Only such highly liberated souls can approach you. And in this way, the name is being glorified. Only those of pure heart can even find you. Paritas, they are all around you as if in a crowd and trying to give their obeisance to you. Tvam sashrayami, I am praying to receive the shelter of your lotus feet. In the Padma Purana we find Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Binatvan Nama Namino. Nama Chintamani Krishnas. The name of the Lord Krishna is just like the Chintamani, a kind of jewel. Of course, this is a divine jewel. Whatever the possessor of this jewel will think, he will automatically, whatever the possessor of this jewel will think of will automatically come to them. It is just like a kalpavriksha, the wish-fulfilling tree. Whatever is wanted is at once attained. Krishna Nam is such a chintamani. Any holy benefit we can expect to get from it. Whatever we wish means with a pure heart. We can get a job for the rest of us, for anything else. But we're talking about whatever we may wish in our devotional aspiration will come from the name. It can supply all the necessary demands of our inner heart and the holiest transaction. Krishna's name is such. Now, not everything can do that. I mean, not even any transcendental thing. Ordinary, what Mahaprabhu has come to give in the holy name of the Lord, that's not available. We can't aspire. We can't even know to aspire for what this name can give. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. We should try to think that the name is ecstatic, is ecstasy personified, and is purely engaged in spiritual play. That is purely spiritual, Chaitanya. Chaitanya Rasa means ecstasy that is purely spiritual, Chaitanya. Spiritual means that it is approached only through a serving attitude, a serving tendency, not the least trace of exploitation or renunciation or negligence, indifference, can be found in its midst. So around that, there's not any of that. There's no material enjoyment or renunciation. That is the nature of the service, submission and subjugation, produced by its charming presence. Be subjugated by charm. Rasa is that fine and pious element that can attract our innermost attention and interest towards it. What is that innermost jewel? It will be attracted to rasa. Chaitanya rasa is that in conscious form. Pure consciousness is a serving wave, a sympathetic wave toward the aim. Vigraha, that is personified in the holy name. That is also there. The serving mood, the serving wave. That will come automatically. If anyone has any real touch with the holy name, he will automatically want to serve. That is, his heart will be overflowing with a desire to serve. I mean, when you think about it, what other relationship are we going to have with the Lord but surrender? I mean, we're going to meet with him and discuss some things. Like maybe instead of torrents of rain, we could have a good, thunderstorm, and a few people might get wet and maybe even get a little sick. But this flooding, I don't know. I'm just giving my opinion. I mean, it's absurd. It's an absurd proposal. Krishna's pastimes, even in this world, even what will come to us in the form of something which is trying to shake loose some, great, terrible misperception of mine. That will be seen as sweet through surrender. Nitya, the name is eternal, never ending. Mukta, the name is free, having no obligation to any other party, any other entity. Purna, the name is avidya, absolute in nature. Shuddha, the name is pure. We are to understand what purity is. The name is pure. So what am I going to be if I'm going to approach the name? Really, the name will purify us. But we have to understand that the real name, we will not know that until we are pure, because the name is pure. What am I going to know about it? Always our claim will be that only service is purity. Something is pure in as much as it is producing satisfaction for Krishna. I dare anyone to tell me about anything else that's pure. Really? What else? Besides service to Krishna? That's why Guru Maharaj is saying, in the high scriptures, that is being carefully and clearly identified and analytically so. This is why Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all scriptures. Through analysis, through logic, through understanding of all the other scriptures, this is the conclusion. Jai Shri Shri Lord Chandra Ki Jai. Such a person has no ambition in the world of elevation. They are neither an elevationist, nor do they make any quest for perfect rest in the renounced stage. Rather, they are self-dedicating soul, one who takes the name of the Lord and is fascinated by the charm of the sound aspect of the Lord, is considered to be above the plane of exploitation, as well as the plane of renunciation. They are deeply engaged in service, so much so they do not want anything. Look at Raghunath Das Goswami. He's not like, oh man, I really miss being at home and having a servant do every little single thing for me. And the most opulent servant, I really miss that. My wife, my family, miss it. He was running, running away and not looking back. I mean, these are really our heroes and the persons whose example is very much a shining beacon of light. Even though in my case, I know I'm so fallen and very much a beginner in devotional life. But still, that light has come into our mind of such a life of so much freedom, completely independent. The heart's waves are dancing without any impediment. They're deeply engaged in service, so much so that they don't want anything. Connection only with the sound aspect of the Lord is highly satisfying to them. They are to such a great degree niskinchan that they do not want anything. Only the name of Krishna is sufficient for them. They are so easily satisfied, they make no demands. Abhinatvam namanamino. Why is this so? Because the sound is inseparably representative of the subject of Krishna himself. There cannot be any sound where the whole representation of the Absolute is not present. There cannot be any such sound where the whole representation of the Absolute is not present. Oh, because the sound is inseparably representative of the subject of Krishna himself. There cannot be any such sound where the whole representation of the Absolute is not present. So if if any sound is there where the whole representation of the Absolute is not present, then that is not the sound which is being described here. Deha dehi vivago yam. In mundane conception we find that the name, the figure, the color, and other aspects of a thing have their separate existence. They cannot be separately conceived. They can be separately conceived. But it is not that way with things which are divine, in which every part is present everywhere. Here the eye can see, the hand can touch and catch. But in the case of Vaikuntha, divinity, and especially in the case of the Lord, the eye can see, the eye can hear, the eye can touch. The feet can see, the feet can touch, and the feet can smell. Just as our mind, which has a central position, can see, hear, touch, can smell, but our eye cannot. So he is the most central thing that can act in any way. The central part. The part and the whole cannot be differentiated in general in him. Still, when he likes, he has that capacity also. To a particular class of devotees he is found with his full-fledged figurative characteristics. His eyes are so beautiful in one way, and his nose is so beautiful in another way. So we may take it that omniscience, omnipotence, and so forth are servants of his will, of him. And that they can be engaged in showing him in any way, but they're all under him. They're serving his will. On the basis of that, all sorts of knowledge and all sorts of energy are only in a serving attitude, awaiting his order. These are all provable things. Though he has a figure, he is not under any limitations because of his figure. Though he has a figure, he is still infinite in his character. Abhinat Vanamanamino. The name, the sound representation is not quite different from Krishna's original existence. Our eyes can have a particular aspect of him. Our ears can have another, and our tongue or our touch may hanker for other aspects of him. But still, there is unity. It is inconceivable, but the name, the sound aspect is the most gracious. And it is far-reaching and meant especially to take up the fallen souls. That is the peculiarity. By his free will, the name has been endowed with this characteristic. Guru Maharaj said, Achincha Beda Bed. One, everything one and different, but Krishna knows where that demarcation line is. He decides that. It's not an independent law. Simultaneously one and different. Put it in a box. We've got that. No, this is all Krishna's business. He can make that demarcation line anywhere he wants. Everything is living. So that now I'm going to stop here and we can finish this little section for verse number 7 tomorrow. Jai Shri Upadeshamrita ki jai, Shri Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Haribol.
Haribol.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama. Yadavaya Madhavaya Hari Bhajakacharya Stutir Sri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Paramhansa Pari Bhajakacharya Astutir Sri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sannyasi Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Narottam Shamananda Srinivas Thakur Prabhu Ki Jai. Sargoswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mission Ki Jai. Taliya Sakama Ki Jai. Shri Dwadashi Bhakta Ki Jai. Jai Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. Nittai Gaur Premanandi. Dandavat, Dandavat, Jai Gurudev Ki Jai.
This morning we have Govinda Vilas Prabhu, Divya Shakti Devi, Kumkum Devi, Shanta Devi, and Shama Malini Devi.
Very happy to have the beautiful, wonderful, brilliant, effulgent association of the devotees.
Dandavat.